Welcome to Turn the Page, the official podcast of the Syosset Public Library.
Hello, everybody. This is Evelyn Hershkowitz, Reader's Services Librarian, and I'm here with Barney.
From the Reference and Local History section.
And here we're lucky enough today to have with us the sister duo of Liv Constantine. So we have Lynne and Valerie. Thank you guys so much for being with us here on Turn the Page.
Welcome.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Public Libraries podcast. So we're excited to have you guys with us. And of course, we're going to talk about the new book that comes out on May 23rd called The Senator's Wife. And we both read it and enjoyed it. And the twists and the turns and everything else was so exciting. It was also chosen as the May Hall of Fame pick, one of the May Hall of Fame picks for library reads. Right. So we're very excited about that. It's gotten some great reviews from some of the very well-known authors and publishers. So we have one, Jeffrey Deaver, Sarah Pekkanen, AJ Finn, who we haven't heard from in a while. You guys know? Do you know him?
Yes, we do. Yes,
he's a great guy. Heard from him. He was the best-selling author of The Woman in the Window.
Right.
He's coming out with another one. I don't know. You guys have the inside scoop on that?
I believe he's still working on that one.
Okay.
I ran into him at a book event in New York a little bit ago. But yeah.
Were you at the one out on Long Island, the mystery one?
No, it was. I'm going to blank on her name, and I love her. She just came. She came out with her Alice Feeney.
Alice
Feeney, and yeah. It was just in the city. So it was probably maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I think, when I ran into him there. But he sent us a really cute picture of his dog Ike with the senator's wife. So it's on our Instagram page.
Terrific. So I'm just going to read a little bit about the two of you. Liv Constantine is the pen name of sisters Lynne Constantine and Valerie Constantine. Lynne and Valerie are Wall Street Journal and USA Today international best-selling authors with over 1 million copies sold worldwide. They are Library Reads Hall of Fame authors. Their books have been translated into 28 languages and are available in 33 countries and are in development for both television and film. Their books have been praised by US Today, The Sunday Times, People Magazine, and Good Morning America, among many others. Their debut novel, The Last Mrs. Parrish, is a Reese Witherspoon Book Club selection. I loved that book so much.
Thank you.
I put that in our patrons' hands all the time.
Oh, thank you so much.
Anytime somebody asks for a psychological thriller, I give them The Last Mrs. Parrish. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And that was your debut, which is amazing.
So Evelyn and I have both read The Senator's Wife. And why don't you, just for our listeners, give us a brief summary, rundown. Don't give too much away, but tell them what this book is about.
Sure. So our protagonist is a woman named Sloan. Well, she ends up being Sloan Montgomery, but before that, Sloan Chase. And she was married to a senator, very happily married. And unfortunately, there was a tragedy that occurred 2 years before the book starts, where she lost her husband, and she's remarried to his best friend when the book opens. They're back in Washington, and she is resuming her duties at her philanthropic foundation. But she's been dealing with lupus for the past 20 years, and as a result, needs a hip replacement. So she and her husband start interviewing home healthcare workers so that while she's recovering, someone can be there to assist her with her foundation and help her to get better. And so they bring a woman named Athena in to take care of her. But as the days and weeks go on, instead of getting better, she slowly gets worse and begins to wonder if Athena is the reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go any further than that.
Right. There's so many twists and turns that you have to read the book to really know what's going on. How do you guys write? How do you keep it going like that? I mean, it's so, especially the thrillers. I mean, you must start with an outline.
We start with a general idea. Yeah. It's not really a very detailed outline, but we start with a twist. Usually, always know the big twist. Of course, then other twists come along the way. but so we have a roadmap, but we let it flow. Also, we let it sort of develop organically as we're writing. We talk every day, every morning, and then we assign who's going to write what. Once we have developed the characters, and which takes a few months probably, talking about the twist and the general outline of the story, and then the characters, and then we go from there.
I have a question. I've spoken to a number of authors who write in a collaborative fashion, and it's interesting to me. You as sisters, I think about projects that I've done with my brother, and it always comes down to I'm the little brother, and whatever we're doing, whether we're building a garage, we're redoing a kitchen, whatever we're doing, I always end up as the little brother. We kind of automatically revert into that mode. As siblings, when you're working together, how does that relationship manifest itself?
It's interesting because Valerie and we have two brothers in between, and we're 14 years apart. So we did not grow up with that typical sibling rivalry. And it wasn't until I was a teenager, really, that I started spending summers with Valerie and her family. And so when we became close, we were already more on equal footing, I would say, even though there was a difference. And so we've just really never had that issue of, occasionally, though, I do feel like Valerie will know a lot more about life things. And I'll say, oh, I just found out this. And she'll say, oh, yeah, I've been doing that for a year now. And I'll say, well, thanks for telling me. So, I think that goes away. It goes a long way. And, we influence each other. But yeah, there's not maybe that would be the case with our two brothers who are 3 years apart. I don't know.
Yeah.
How that might be if they did something together, but really hasn't come up as an issue for us.
No, it never has.
I asked the same question to not too long ago. I had Andrew Child on, who's
right.
And I asked him about that relationship, and he said, well, in the very first Reacher book, Lee killed off his brother right away. And I said,
what does that say? Yeah.
There might have been a little something going on.
Right.
They seem to have gotten past that. They're working pretty well together.
You guys are lucky to be able to work so well together, because you're in different states, right? You're not even close to each other.
We are. Lynn's in Connecticut and I'm in Maryland.
Oh, wow. So before Zoom, how did you do it?
Well, I guess it was FaceTime.
FaceTime,
right?
FaceTime. Yeah.
That's great.
Right.
Okay. So also, Lynne, you write other books under the pen name Elsie Shaw.
Yes.
How do you distinguish your time between writing as Liv Constantine and writing as Elsie Shaw?
Well, it's been a couple of years and I really need to write the third book in that series, but I just can't do them both at the same time, obviously. So we just really have to be careful with scheduling. And the Elsie Shaw books came out also through Harper, and we had the same editor. I had the same editor that Valerie and I had, so that made it much easier because she understood that, and we were able to do the timing that way. So in between, maybe if we had finished a book, or if our book was then with our editor for a month and a half, then I could work on a different book at that time. So just kind of separating the time out.
Well, The Last Mrs. Parrish came out how many years ago?
2017.
Not that long ago, actually. So what have you guys done before that? Did you always know you wanted to be authors?
We wrote a book called Circle Dance. How many years ago? Like 20 some years ago, when I was also in Maryland. And I don't think I didn't always know. I thought I wanted to be a criminal attorney, actually. And then I decided I wanted to be a psychologist. And then I went into business. And now with the writing, I kind of can use all of that in that. But we've always loved reading and talked about books together. And so Circle Dance was the first book that we wrote because it was about a Greek American family. And we had always read a lot of books about other ethnicities, and there really aren't many. This was before My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Circle Dance is nothing like that. It's a completely different, different type of book. And we wrote that together before Zoom and FaceTime. And then I ended up moving to Connecticut. I had twins at the time. I was homeschooling my twins, so I didn't write for a long time. Valerie was very involved in philanthropic work. And so it wasn't until maybe 2014, I guess, that that we started writing, because we did write another book before The Last Mrs. Parrish that didn't get published.
So whose idea was it to collaborate? Where did it come from? Or did it just evolve organically?
I'm trying to remember. Well, for Circle Dance, I guess it was you. I don't know.
I think it was, I think I had said, want to write a book together, and
And then, and as Lynne said, then there was that huge gap. And Lynne went to a writing conference, Thriller Fest in New York. I guess when was your first? Well, like 2013,
12, I think.
something. And I think that really got her like, oh, that's kind of started the engine again.
Yeah.
And that's when you wrote the first
Right.
in the Elsie Shaw series, right? And then she said to me, you really need to come to this next year with me to Thriller Fest. And I said, I don't write thrillers. And that's not my thing. And she said, no. There are craft classes. Writing is writing. It doesn't matter what kind of book you're writing. There are certain things to the craft. So come take the classes. It's wonderful. And I did. I went the next year. And that's when I guess after that one, I said, well, why don't how about we try it again? And we wrote that book that's in the drawer, right? And then
Susan's,
right, Susan's, and then Parrish.
Well, I also have read about the fact that you're writing the next Mrs. Parrish.
Yes.
Where does that stand?
We're working on it right now.
Oh, great. Oh, I look so forward to that one.
Right. Just finished the second draft. So that'll, we'll get that into our editor in August, and hopefully it'll be out maybe around this time next year.
Oh, that's so exciting. So how many books that come out a year? Just one? Not just one. One?
Yeah, just one.
I don't mean just one. I totally get it.
But there are people who do 2 and 3 a year. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, no, I don't know how that works either, if they're really writing them.
There are factories that put out way more than 2 or 3 a year.
Yes, exactly.
I kind of wonder,
So how often do you guys at least get together and see each other?
I'm heading up to Connecticut on Sunday. As a matter
how nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
So at least 3 or 4 times a year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not always for work. I'm going up Sunday because we start our tour.
Right. I was going to ask you about that.
Right.
Is this your first tour since the pandemic?
Kind of. Yeah, I guess it is, right?
It is,
yeah.
right.
I mean, we've done like here and there sporadic events, but this is the first full tour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Where you guys headed? What's scheduled for your tour?
So we start up in Connecticut. We have like 4 events. We start in Westport, and then we're in Milford and Darien. And then we go down to Maryland, and we have Westminster. And then we have a DC event, Annapolis. And then we come to New Jersey, and I think we finish up there. And then we have a lot of virtual stuff as well in the meantime, right? And then I think we have some stuff through the rest of the summer. There might be a few things Valerie will go to in Maryland, and there'll be a few things up here that I'll do maybe with some other authors. Oh, and Thriller Fest. I'll be at Thriller Fest May 30th through like the 4th in New York.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's a great conference.
Is that instead of Book Expo that they took away from us? I love Book Expo.
But Thriller Fest is, Thriller Fest is a writers conference and a fan conference. So that's
right.
In 2 parts. There are 2 days of craft classes for a lot of writers, and then panels for the other 2 days where you have a lot of times just readers who will come and attend those. But it's a really fun time.
Sure. So Valerie, you're working in the White House as a scheduling assistant. Did that help with writing this book, knowing the ins and outs of what goes on with the senators?
I think it helped a little bit. I think it helped more with the whole sort of atmosphere of power, and what that's like. And you used the word assistant. It was a very, very lowly assistant, so I wasn't some key person on the White House staff. But just being there, you sort of see what power does, how sort of intoxicating it can be. And so I think that was a help in writing about the political side of it, although this is definitely not a political thriller.
No.
It's more of the background of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely. Do you want to ask about
I will ask my question.
Go
whether
ask your
this ever
question,
came up
Barb.
or not. placement of the apostrophe in the title. Did you ever just think about going, was it plural, or did you ever talk about maybe a possessive plural?
That's a good question.
Yeah, a good one. I like, yeah.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. No.
It was originally the senator's widow.
Oh,
Well, okay.
And then we thought that's going to make it sound like it's all about like some great, woman who's nefarious. And that's why we changed it to wife. So it never occurred to us then when we changed it to wife, the fact that, yeah, she's
right.
senator's wife, but that's a good point.
so
But
which
how many
senator?
people-
Okay, so
How many
which
people would
senator?
look at a title like that and think that we'd made a mistake until they
Yeah, exactly.
No, so which senator is it referring to?
Either one.
whichever way you want. Right.
Right, the senator's wife. It could be either one. That's the whole.
Right.
That's
She
the
was
whole idea. If you do
married to two
it's the
senators,
same
right.
thing, though.
There you go.
But if you take away the apostrophe and it's just senators,
Okay.
it could go either way, right?
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, S apostrophe or apostrophe S, which
Right. It could go either way. I like the cover. The cover is lovely. It's a
Thank you.
flower.
we
love
love
the
the
cover.
cover. Yeah.
And I also listened to the audiobook.
Oh, you have? We haven't heard it yet. How is it?
No.
It's on the, I don't know if you guys know. PRH has a separate audiobook app that you can download and get the audios before they come out.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
didn't
So,
either.
yes,
Thanks
I
for telling
listened,
us.
I listened to quite a few that way. So I was able to find that one on there. It's read by Kirsten Potter, who did an amazing job. And I don't think I've listened to any of hers. And I looked it up, and she's on Overdrive alone. She has 326 audiobooks.
Wow.
So she's certainly famous. So have you heard it? You haven't heard it
Yeah,
yet?
I mean, no, we heard her and we were thrilled. We were able to weigh in on that, but no, we haven't listened to the book yet. So I mean, I was just I figured we'd get it, when it came out.
Right. Yeah, no. Contact your people at PRH. They'll certainly hook you up and get you in there so you can listen to it before it comes out.
What we like doing is when it happens to coincide, and it did with Mrs. Parrish, and it will with this, is listening to it in the car together as we're driving to different events.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
fun
Oh,
to
you'll enjoy it. She did a great job. She really did.
Great
It
to
was
hear.
fabulous. And I just want to let all of our listeners know that the book will be available May 23rd on Overdrive in both the ebook version and the audiobook version. So we will
Perfect.
have that for our audience. So
That's
yeah.
great.
So you picked her, you picked the audiobook narrator, they sent you samples and everything.
Yeah. And we all, independent of each other, all chose her. I mean, because we all listened and made a choice before we saw the other ones, and we all, it was unanimous. So
Right. Yeah, no, she did a great job. You'll enjoy it.
Good.
Do you like listening? Do you enjoy audiobooks?
It's just I don't drive as much anymore, I feel like it's too much stop and go, like to do it around the house. I don't know. I don't think about it as much, but when I'm driving, definitely for long.
Right. That's how I feel. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't,
No, you can't. You can't
listen
drive
to a
and
book.
listen.
No, I can't listen to a book.
No matter what.
No?
No matter where it
Okay.
is, it just the audiobook just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Is
I
there-
prefer to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say I prefer one over the other. It's a different feel for me.
It
But I love them both.
depends. I like it when when there are different nationalities and you hear them doing different, the accents. I think that often is helpful to listen to that, and it just makes it come more alive than when you're reading it.
This is to be a function of my own short little attention span. I'm listening to it, and I just
your
my
mind.
mind is just going off in 10,000.
I'm that way too.
I have the book in front of me. I know where I am. But
You have to make
I
it.
get that.
You have to make the speed go a little
Right.
faster.
I speed it up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm an auditory learner. So for me, it's
Oh yeah, perfect.
it's good. Yeah. I when I hear something, I tend to remember it even more than when I read it. So that's why audiobooks are just fabulous for me. I just enjoy them so much.
That's interesting. Like when you look something up on Google, and I hate when I get a video instead. I just want to read it.
Oh,
Right. And I don't have the patience. I'm like, no, just tell me how to do it.
Yeah, when I want to know something right away, I agree with
Yeah,
you 100%.
yeah,
I'd much
yeah.
rather read it. But when
Yeah.
I'm listening, I just think it's so great. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful way, especially if it's a multicast audio
Yes.
book.
Yeah.
Then they're really, those are just absolutely fabulous. I
Mhm.
love what those are done. Do you remember who did the audio for The Last Mrs. Parrish?
We had
Remember
two
that?
narrators, right? It was
Yes.
Julia. I could look it up. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
'cause
love that narration. I have to say that was the
Right.
one book. Hearing Amber and her nasty thoughts out loud. I mean, just Ben Jackson's thoughts, and I mean, it would make me laugh out loud. But
Yeah, no, that was a great audio book too. I love that one also. So when will the next Mrs. Parrish be out?
hopefully next year, maybe around this time. Susan Elise Freeman and Megan Wolf were the narrators of them. Of the last,
Yeah, it was a
and
great.
we have a prequel to The Last Mrs. Parrish that's out now, a little novella.
Oh, I haven't gotten that one. I must find that. Yes.
Yeah, that's called First Shot, and it's all about Amber.
Okay.
Before she went to Bishop's Harbor. So it's a like I said, a novella. What is it, about maybe 100 pages? Yeah.
Is it out in print or it's just?
It is. It's in audio. It's actually in for audio. It's in the Plus catalog, so you can download it for free.
Oh, okay.
It's also on Kindle and on print.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look for that one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Takes place in Colorado.
Okay. Terrific. So when you guys aren't busy writing, what authors do you like to read?
Oh wow, lots of.
So many. Oh my gosh. I forget what I read like a month ago, or so I can just like tell you what I'm reading, what I read recently. So I just finished Horace by Geraldine Brooks, and then
I've heard great things about that. Yeah,
really good. The Great Alone right now. I missed it when it came out. It's by Kristen Hanna. I love her.
Fabulous.
I think Elizabeth Strout is terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Great writer. Lynn.
I'm reading The Last Word by Taylor Adams, which is really good and scary. And we do read a lot in the genre now, just because we get a lot from different friends. So I love reading Wendy Walker and Kimberly Bell and Jennifer Hillier. They're all Alex Finlay. His latest book, I loved. That was really great.
Yeah,
wonderful, terrific. I did have another question and it left my mind.
Oh, don't you hate that?
I should have wrote it down.
It happens to me a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I'll remember it after we're all done because it's just not coming to me right now.
Email us if you do. We'll answer you.
So, while you're thinking, one author that Lynn and I both adored, and probably one of the first ones that we read as younger people, was Susan Howich, the British
I read
author.
her when I was younger too.
And Merrick and
Cashmere. And then she did that whole series on the Church of England, glittering images and different. I mean, we just adored her, and I think she was a huge spur to just keep on reading. Her books were so terrific.
Yeah, I remember reading her. I think I was in high school still when I was reading her. So
Exactly.
Quite a while ago. Yeah.
She's good.
No, so a lot of thrill writers like yourselves don't like to read that genre. They like to read other genres. You don't find that it's conflicting, that it's reading the same genre that you write in?
I don't. I mean, I probably wouldn't read if all of a sudden I picked a book up and it was very similar, like The Stranger in the Mirror was an amnesia book. I probably wouldn't read another amnesia book, just because I would hate for anything to mistakenly be, copied or something like that. But no, I mean, I feel like they're different enough that it's okay. I mean, and two, I do intersperse with all different other kinds of fiction as well. But it just seems like, again, also with blurbing, you know what I mean? We try to do as much blurbing as we can because we remember how it was when we were first starting out. So of course, that's going to tend to be in our genre. And it is the genre that I love. And I think there's enough difference in what's been being written about that it's not a problem.
Right. Yeah. So I also want to know what's going on with television and film rights for any of your books.
Oh, no way. We would like to know. Yes, as well. So The Last Mrs. Parrish, we have two really amazing writers attached to that. But right now with the writer's strike, everything.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to see what happens, right, until that's over. And our second book also is optioned and has been renewed. We have a producer and talent attached, but I'm not sure about the script on that one either. So until hopefully resolved in a good way for the writers, and then we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's too bad that writer strike is really affecting a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Not you guys. You guys can keep writing, right?
We can write novels, yes. Right.
Yeah. that doesn't affect it. I'm glad. Because that would really be that would hurt everybody.
Yes, it would.
It would.
People weren't writing. We would not be happy here at the library. I'm sure you would not be happy either. So, you have anything else, Barney? Are we good?
I'm good. I have to say this is really kind of outside the genre that I typically read in. So it was fun for me. It was different than where I'm usually reading. So I will.
It's not his typical. It's my typical.
Barney, what's your typical?
I read thrillers and spy stuff, and I keep waiting for something to get blown up or whatever, and it's typical. Crazy guy stuff.
Then you like my Elsie Shaw stuff, because that's how that is. That's in fact.
So you're gonna have to pick up her.
I will definitely.
Yeah, that, because when Valerie reads that, she goes, "I can't believe you wrote that." I mean, there's a lot of it's a lot darker and a lot more blood. So
Barney, have you read I Am Pilgrim by Terry Hayes?
No, I have not.
That is
right
up your alley.
I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah, really terrific.
And I also like rom-com.
Let me know what you think after you finish it.
I'm a big rom-com reader. That seems to be, since the pandemic, it just soothes me and makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a happy ending.
Happy ending.
Good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of those coming out lately. I've noticed.
So many. I cannot keep up with it. It's more than I could read. So I just got 4, as you know, books come out on Tuesdays.
Right.
So I got 4 holds today. So it's just not happening. I can't read them all. It's nice to get them.
Absolutely.
So we're very lucky here at the library.
Yeah. What's at the top of your list?
Well, right now what am I reading now? That's a good question. I'm reading Meet Me at the Lake by, what is her name? Wait, it's on my overdrive. I will tell you.
I've seen that everywhere. That's the pink cover. Yeah.
It's on my Libby. It's not Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I'm in the middle of that right now. So I'm listening to it, even though I do have it on print also, but I'm really enjoying the audiobook. So I don't want to just read it. I want to listen to it. Nice. But now that I got these 4, I got to figure out which one. I don't even know which one's on the top right now. I got to figure it out. I put them all on hold, so I wanted them all. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick. And then the biggest dilemma when I go away for vacation is what to read. I want to make sure it's the absolute right book. And I can't, of course, just take one. I mean, because when I'm sitting on the beach, I like to actually read the actual book. But then if we're stuck in the room, if it rains, I like to read an ebook. So I gotta, my hardest thing is what I'm taking with me on vacation.
So many books.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah. Right.
A lot came out today. Today seemed to be a very big publication day. So, and you guys are the 23rd.
Next week, one more week.
Oh my gosh! Right.
It's crazy. It's my best friend's birthday. So, thank you. So I wish you guys luck with your tour.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thanks
You're not
so
going
much
to be
for
around
having
here anywhere, huh? Nowhere in New York?
Well, just in Thriller Fest. Yeah.
Okay, enjoy that. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great to talk to you.
I look forward to your next books.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to close the chapter of Turn the Page. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
It's time to close this chapter of Turn the Page. Join us for the next episode.